Well, hello again, and welcome to Weathersfield Proctor Library Storytime. I'm Glenna Coleman, Youth Services Librarian, and here's my pal, Library Bear, here to tell some stories. Well, it's feeling a little bit like winter now. I had a little tiny bit of snow at my house, and so I thought maybe it was time to pull out some stories about penguins. Our first story about penguins is by Tony Buzzeo with pictures by David Small, and this is called One Cool Friend. How about that, Bear? What do you think? One Cool Friend. Story by Tony Buzzeo with pictures by David Small. Alright, I'm going to move down here where I can see the words better. Be a little more comfy. Don't fall off your chair there, Bear. Elliot was a very proper young man. I'll make sure I don't skip anything already. So, Saturday morning, when his father said, "Family fun day at the aquarium, shall we go?" Elliot thought, kids, masses of noisy kids. But he only said, "Of course. Thank you for inviting me." Well, he is a very proper young man, isn't he? At the aquarium, Elliot's father settled on a bench to read his National Geographic. "Have some fun, Elliot," he said. So Elliot did. He skipped the mobs of kids on the giant saltwater tank, amazing jellies display, and hands-on tide pool exhibit. Penguins. In their tidy black feather tuxedos with their proper posture, they reminded Elliot of himself. Even Ferdinand Magellan looked like his kind of guy. Here's Ferdinand Magellan. Explorer discovered the Magellanic penguin in 1519. At noontime, Elliot's father asked, "Are you having fun?" "Yes, thank you," said Elliot. "May I please have a penguin?" "Sure," his father said, and handed over a $20 bill. See, there's a sign here that says today's special plush penguins, 1995. "That's very kind," Elliot said, and headed off. Wait a minute. Notice he's not going in the direction of the plush penguins? I wonder what could be going on. Elliot emptied the school notices from his backpack, selected the smallest penguin. Uh-oh. And popped it inside. His father asked, "Where's your penguin?" "In my backpack," Elliot said. "Thanks for asking." In his room, Elliot dialed the air conditioner down to its coldest setting. "Maybe you'd like to skate?" Elliot asked. "Brrrr," said Magellan. So Elliot dragged his old wading pool upstairs, then fed the garden hose through the kitchen window and turned on the faucet. "Forgive the inconvenience," he said, as he passed his father's office. Soon the air conditioner had done its work. Later, Elliot knocked on the door of his father's office. "I have some research to do at the library about Magellan." "When I was in 3rd grade, I got Captain Cook," his father said. "Where did you keep him?" Elliot asked. His father had already returned to charting the changing boundaries of the Great Barrier Reef. I think Elliot assumes that Captain Cook was a penguin belonging to his father. Oh, sorry, I'm having a little trouble with these pages. Elliot and Magellan rode to the library. When Elliot set him on the librarian's desk, Magellan held completely still. Miss Stanbridge didn't blink an eye, even when Magellan blinked his. She helped him access www.penguinsonice.com, copy pages from Antarctic anecdotes, and borrow Best Behavior for Birds. On the way home, Elliot stopped for 8 bags of ice and a snack. Luckily, his father's $20 bill was just enough to cover it. How did the research go? Elliot's father asked from behind an atlas. Great. Magellan was perfect, Elliot said. Just like Captain Cook, his father said. Well, they are having a conversation, but they aren't exactly communicating, are they? Elliot read his library book aloud while Magellan cooled down. They shared a bag of goldfish crackers, but Magellan was still hungry. May I please bake frozen pizzas for supper? Elliot asked. That's nice of you, his father said. But the only flavor we have left is anchovy. Perfect, Elliot said. Magellan loves them. If you don't know, anchovy is a kind of fish. Salty. That evening, Elliot heard his father rummaging for ice cream. Luckily, Magellan had politely moved the carton to the front of the freezer shelf. Ha! Where is Magellan? Unfortunately, Magellan forgot his manners overnight. When Magellan awoke, he was longing for a swim. Elliot drew him a deep tub of cold water. He left Magellan diving and holding his breath. I think I'll have a bit of a soak, Elliot's father announced. Wait, Elliot said, I left my penguin in there. I'll set him on the hamper and do my best not to splash. Elliot! Elliot rushed to the door. Young man, where did this penguin come from? His father demanded. The southern tip of Argentina, Elliot said. That's right, his father said. As for Captain Cook, he added, he came from the Galapagos Islands. Well, I hope you enjoyed One Cool Friend by Tony Buzzeo, with pictures by David Small. That's certainly one story about a penguin. I have another story about a penguin for you called Tacky the Penguin. And Tacky the Penguin is written by Helen Lester and it's illustrated by Lynn Munsinger. You can see that, unlike Elliot, Tacky here is not a very proper boy or penguin. Tacky the Penguin by Helen Lester, illustrated by Lynn Munsinger. There once lived a penguin. His home was a nice icy land he shared with his companions. It does look fairly icy, doesn't it? His companions were named Goodly, Lovely, Angel, Neatly, and Perfect. His name was Tacky. Tacky was an odd bird. Every day, Goodly, Lovely, Angel, Neatly, and Perfect greeted each other quietly and politely. Tacky greeted them with a hearty slap on the back and a loud, "What's happening?" Goodly, Lovely, Angel, Neatly, and Perfect always marched 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tacky always marched 12342360250. 0. His companions were graceful divers. Tacky liked to do splashy cannonballs. Goodly, lovely, angel, neatly, and perfect always sang pretty songs like Sunrise on the Iceberg. Tacky always sang songs like How many toes does a fish have? Tacky was an odd bird. One day, the penguins heard the thump, thump, thump of feet in the distance. This could mean only one thing. Hunters had come. They came with maps and traps and rocks and locks, and they were rough and tough. As the thump, thump, thump drew closer, the penguins could hear the growly voices chanting, "We're gonna catch some pretty penguins, and we'll march 'em with a switch, and we'll sell 'em for $1 and get rich, rich, rich." Goodly, lovely, angel, neatly, and perfect ran away in fright. They hid behind a block of ice. Tacky stood alone. The hunters marched right up to him, chanting, "We're gonna catch some pretty penguins, and we'll march 'em with a switch, and we'll sell 'em for $1 and get rich, rich, rich." "What's happening?" blared Tacky, giving one hunter an especially hearty slap on the back. They growled, "We're hunting for penguins, that's what's happening." "Penguins?" said Tacky. "Do you mean those birds that march neatly in a row?" And he marched 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 6, 0, 2.5, 0. The hunters looked puzzled. "Do you mean those birds that dive so gracefully?" said Tacky. Then he did a splashy cannonball. The hunters looked wet. "Do you mean those birds that sing such pretty songs?" Tacky began to sing, and from behind the block of ice came the voices of his companions, all singing as loudly and dreadfully as they could. "How many toes does a fish have, and how many wings on a cow? I wonder, yup, I wonder." The hunters could not stand the horrible singing. This could not be the land of the pretty penguins. They ran away with their hands clasped tightly over their ears, leaving behind their maps and traps and rocks and locks, and not looking at all rough and tough. Goodly, lovely, angel, neatly, and perfect hugged Tacky. Tacky was an odd bird, but a very nice bird to have around. Well, I hope you enjoyed Tacky the Penguin, written by Helen Lester and illustrated by Lynn Munsinger. Well, those were 2 stories of penguins now that we have some cold weather. I hope you enjoyed them. I'm Glenna Coleman, Youth Services Librarian at the Weathersfield Proctor Library, and this is our story time with Library Bear. We'll see you next time.